Racing Point's Sergio Perez is out of the British Grand Prix after testing positive for the coronavirus ahead of this weekend's action. I'm Thomas Marr. Be sure to like and subscribe for the very latest Formula 1 news. Sergio Perez is in quarantine after testing positive for COVID-19. The Mexican driver was absent from the Silverstone paddock on Thursday following an initial inconclusive coronavirus test on Wednesday. This likely means the first test was positive, but wasn't admitted publicly due to the possibility of a false positive. Several team members at Racing Point have also been quarantined due to coming in contact with Sergio. The FIA and Formula 1 confirmed Perez tested positive during the second test, meaning he can't take part in this weekend's British Grand Prix and is out for the foreseeable future as he'll be in quarantine. The earliest that Perez could possibly return is the Belgian Grand Prix at the end of August, although this would require Perez to recover from the virus completely within the next 14 days. Following today's announcement that Sergio Perez of BWT Racing Point Formula 1 team produced an inconclusive test result for COVID-19 at Silverstone ahead of the 2020 Formula 1 British Grand Prix, the FIA and Formula 1 can now confirm that the result of his retest is positive, said a statement from the FIA. Perez has entered self-quarantine in accordance with the instructions of the relevant public health authorities and will continue to follow the procedure mandated by those authorities. With assistance of the local organiser of the British Grand Prix, local health authorities and the FIA COVID-19 delegate, a full track and trace initiative has been undertaken and all close contacts have been quarantined. The procedures set out by the FIA and Formula 1 have provided for swift containment of an incident that will have no wider impact on this weekend's event. The race will not be cancelled as a result of this due to the establishment of tight bubbles in which teams and drivers must operate during the season. Racing Point have until qualifying to find a driver to slot into place, who will likely stay in place for 2 to 3 races. Racing Point have access to the same reserve drivers as Mercedes due to being an engine customer, meaning Stoffel Vandoorne and Esteban Gutierrez. Vandoorne though is due to race for Mercedes in Formula E over the next few weekends, meaning Gutierrez is the more likely candidate. However, the Mexican hasn't raced in Formula 1 since 2016 and the status of his super license is unclear. He last raced in an FIA championship with Techeetah in Formula E in 2017, meaning he should still be eligible to hold a license and be able to take the spot. But another name has emerged as a possibility. Nico Hulkenberg has far more recent and relevant Formula 1 experience and is a free agent. He definitely holds a valid super license and has raced with Racing Point in the past, leaving for Renault at the end of 2017 while making tongue-in-cheek jokes about the former Force India team. Without any disrespect towards Gutierrez, Hulkenberg is a less risky choice in terms of competitiveness and reassurance over what could be a few Grand Prix weekends. After all, the team arguably have the second best car on the grid right now and will want a driver who can unlock the potential performance of the car immediately. Wouldn't it be an astonishing turnaround if Hulkenberg went from being an F1 exile to being a genuine podium contender in the space of a couple of days? There's also a possibility, however small, that they could turn to an available reserve from another team, Alfa Romeo's Robert Kubica being an obvious contender as someone who could step in easily. However, he is scheduled to race in DTM this weekend. With the RP20 being as competitive as it is, expect drivers to move heaven and earth to try getting this drive, as it's a career revival if they have some strong races. Whoever Racing Point choose, that driver will score points on their own behalf, not Perez's, and will add to the tally of the team in the Constructors' Championship. Finally, best wishes to Sergio Perez as he recovers from the virus, as well as any other possible infected team member. Given that personnel and drivers are working in team bubbles, it'll be interesting to see what emerges regarding where he might have contracted it, given the criticism aimed at Charles Leclerc and Valtteri Bottas after returning home to Monaco after the Austrian Grand Prix. Hopefully, the virus has been contained within a small cluster and doesn't have any further impact. That's it from me for the moment. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on Twitter at Thomas Marr on F1.